Good day, everyone. I am Athela Redman, and I will be talking about the research introduction, or the chapter 1 of our research. Our research is titled A Classroom Based Investigation of Reading Comprehension Difficulties Among Grade 6 Pupils. Reading comprehension is vital for academic success, yet many grade 6 pupils in the Philippines struggles with it despite educational initiatives. Difficulties arise from limited vocabulary, ineffective strategies, and low engagement. Action research helps teachers address these issues by identifying specific problems, implementing targeted interventions, and reflecting on their effectiveness, ultimately improving pupils' reading skills through responsive teaching strategies. Early exposure to language is crucial, but learning to read and write requires time, support, and frequent interaction with print. Reading comprehension issues in grade 6 hinder academic success. Student-centered instructions and action research are key to addressing these challenges. A language-focused intervention can improve reading skills. Our statement of the problem. This study seeks to examine the reading comprehension challenges faced by grade 6 students in a classroom environment. It aims to specifically address the following inquiries. What are the common reading comprehension difficulties experienced by grade 6 pupils? What factors contribute to these reading comprehension difficulties? And how do these difficulties affect the pupils' overall academic performance? Our scope and delimitation. This study focuses on reading comprehension skills of grade 6 pupils at Medellin Central Elementary School during the 2025 until 2026 school year, assessing literal, inferential, and critical comprehension. It is limited to this school and grade level, excluding other factors like home environment. The significance of the study aims to identify specific reading challenges, inform target interventions, refine teaching methods, and contribute to curriculum development. It also adds to the knowledge base on reading comprehension, benefiting educators, researchers, and policymakers. This study aims to identify the learners' reading difficulties in grade 6 to provide targeted support, improving reading skills and confidence. As well, for the teachers, the findings will offer insights for teachers to refine their methods and create effective lesson plans to address reading problems. To the parents, the study will help parents understand their children's reading challenges, enabling them to provide support at home and collaborate with teachers. For school administrators, the results will inform school policies and resource allocation to support struggling readers and improve teacher training. For the future researchers, this study will contribute to the knowledge base on reading problems, inspire new interventions and assessment, and serve as a model for future research in reading education.
So, good day everyone. Today I will discuss our research, chapter 2, focusing on the review of related literature concerning reading comprehension difficulties among grade 6 students. So, in this chapter, we explored existing studies and theories that lay the groundwork for understanding reading comprehension challenges. So, we look into conceptual foundations, discussing how reading comprehension involves intricate cognitive functions and has evolved with insights from bridging processes and neurocognitive findings. So we also examine the local and national context in which it highlights the Philippine Department of Education's initiatives like the ELLN program, yet acknowledging the persisting learning crisis with many learners falling below literacy standards as noted by UNICEF and local studies. So, key factors and challenges include classroom issues like inadequate materials and high teacher-pupil ratios, while instructional strategies like guided reading and problem-based learning show promise in enhancing comprehension. Our conceptual framework illustrates the following input process output model, showing factors like students' reading level and vocabulary knowledge influencing outcomes such as understanding texts and identifying comprehension difficulties. So we've also defined K-terms operationally and technically to ensure clarity, covering concepts like action research, ELL, and reading comprehension itself. To summarize our chapter 2, so understanding these aspects helps us address reading comprehension challenges effectively and inform strategies for improvement.
Good day, everyone. I will now present Chapter 3, which is the research methodology of our study. For the research design, this study employed a descriptive mixed method research design to investigate the reading comprehension difficulties of grade 6 pupils. Specifically, the quantitative component was utilized to measure the pupils' level of reading comprehension through a structured reading comprehension test. This test focused on key skills such as identifying the main idea, recognizing supporting details, interpreting vocabulary in context, making inferences, and drawing conclusions. On the other hand, the qualitative component was utilized to explore the pupils' reading behaviors, experiences, and challenges through classroom observations and semi-structured interviews. The integration of both quantitative and qualitative approaches enabled the researchers to obtain both numerical data and in-depth insights, thereby providing a more comprehensive understanding of the problem. Next in line is the research environment. The study was conducted at Midillion Central Elementary School, located in Poblacion, Midillion, Cebu. The research was carried out in a grade 6 classroom where pupils regularly participate in reading activities as part of their daily instruction. This setting provided a natural learning environment which allowed the researchers to observe the pupils' actual reading behavior and comprehension difficulties during classroom instructions. For the research participants, the participants of the study consisted of grade 6 pupils enrolled in aforementioned school. A purposive sampling technique was employed to select approximately 30 to 35 pupils who were identified as having reading comprehension difficulties. The selection was based on teacher observations and the pupils' classroom performance. This sampling technique ensured that the participants possessed characteristics that were directly relevant to the research problem. Next is the research instrument. The study utilized several research instructions to gather comprehensive data. First, a research-made reading comprehension test was administered. This consisted of selected narrative and informational passages, followed by open-ended questions. It was designed to assess comprehension skills such as identifying the main idea, recognizing supporting details, understanding vocabulary in context, making inferences, and drawing conclusions. Second, a classroom observation checklist was utilized to systematically record a pupil's behavior during reading activities. This focused on their level of engagement, use of reading strategies, and observable comprehension difficulties. Third, a semi-structured interviews guide was employed to gather deeper insights from selected pupils regarding their reading experiences and challenges. Lastly, field notes and reflection logs were maintained to document observations and significant insights throughout the duration of the study. The use of multiple instruments ensured data triangulation thereby enhancing the validity and reliability of the findings. Next, for the data gathering procedure, the data gathering procedure involved several systematic steps. Initially, permission and approval were secured from the school head and relevant authorities prior to the conduct of the study. Subsequently, an orientation was conducted to explain the purpose and procedures of the research. Informed consent from parents and assent from pupils were obtained before participation. Afterward, participants were selected using purposive sampling based on identified reading difficulties. The reading comprehension tasks were then administered, wherein pupils read selected passages and responded to comprehension questions. Simultaneously, classroom observations were conducted to document pupils' behaviors and strategies during reading sessions. In addition, semi-structured interviews were conducted with selected pupils to further explore their reading experiences and difficulties. All relevant data were documented through field notes and reflection logs. The entire data collection process was carried out in a safe and supportive classroom environment. For the data analysis plan, the collected data were analyzed using thematical analysis for qualitative data and basic quantitative analysis for test results. The analysis process involved organizing the collected data, coding significant responses, grouping similar ideas into categories, and identifying emerging themes. These themes includes common comprehension, difficulties such as limited vocabulary, difficulty identifying main ideas, and challenges in making inferences. Furthermore, data obtained from reading tests, classroom observations, and interviews were compared through triangulation to ensure the accuracy, consistency, and credibility of the findings. For the ethical considerations, the researchers strictly adhered to established ethical standards throughout the conduct of the study. Prior permission was secured from the school authorities and informed consent from parents, as well as assent from pupils, were obtained before participation. Participation in the study was entirely voluntary, and participants were informed of their right to withdraw at any time without any negative consequences. Confidentiality and anonymity were maintained by using coded identifiers instead of real names. All collected data were securely stored in password protected files and were accessible only to the researchers. The study also complied with the provisions of the Data Privacy Act of 2012 to ensure the protection of participants' personal information. These measures were implemented to safeguard the rights, privacy, and well-being of all participants. That concludes the research methodology of our study.